Assalamu alaikum. How you doing, family? All praises due to Allah. We are honored today with a very special guest, our dear brother student minister Desmond Muhammad. All praises due to
Yes,
Allah.
all
We are
praises due to
have been
Allah.
trying to set this up for quite some time, and all praises due to Allah that we have been blessed to be able to finally get around to talk to our brother. So
Absolutely.
we are
He
honored.
definitely a very valuable brother in the nation of Islam.
Indeed.
We have known our dear brother for quite some time, and he's always high spirited, always ready to teach, always ready to help another brother or sister, in not just in the nation of Islam but in the world. And there, that beautiful black man is Brother Desmond
Yes,
Muhammad.
sir.
We were just talking about knowing you for quite some time, and
Allahu Akbar.
yes, and you just being such a beautiful person and always willing to help your brothers and sisters. And that's one of the reasons that you are here today,
That's right.
so that you can come and shed a little light, um, with us from that beautiful mind of yours. But of course, we do have to take a moment to do our product of the week, and my husband has to have a little bit of theme music that he is.
You know,
Gotta pep it up. Gotta pep it up a
you know
little bit,
how we do it.
a little flavor.
You know how we do it.
And all of the music that we hear, he is the producer of, and he has been quite creative in producing some really nice music. I'm not sure what he's playing for us today.
Since it's Ramadan and I made a song for Ramadan, I'm gonna play some Ramadan music today.
Okay.
Let's roll.
All right.
All right,
I might
all
have to.
right.
I might have to sing to it.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
yeah, come on now.
There you go. Get them lyrics
Come on
together.
now, come on now. Yeah, we'll do it live right here. My computer running a little slow sometimes. You know, I have to
Yeah.
shake it.
Well, you want to do the product of the week?
Yeah.
We'll do the product of the week while you're
All
waiting on
right.
that.
Well, yes. Well, you already know how we do it. You know, we definitely want you to support the baddest, boldest, coldest newspaper on the planet Earth, and that is the Final Call, resurrected minds, one paper at a time. How do I know? Because it resurrected mine. That's right. If you don't have your latest edition, this is the edition before, because we know we just did a new edition when this premieres. We just know we did a new edition, but I am honored that we have been blessed to put our brother on the front cover. Now, we saw what the other media was doing. They put up Prince Philip and him and talked about his troubled life, but they put, like, what is he in comparison to him? But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave our brother the front page.
That's
Not only
right.
did he give him the
Absolutely,
front
well
page,
deserved.
that's right. Not only did he give him the front page, he spoke words about our dear brother in this paper. So if you don't have this one, you should definitely get it because you're gonna want some memorabilia on that one. You're gonna want some memorabilia, and even on the back, as you can see, it has a beautiful crown and our brother's name on there.
Mm.
So if you are not a subscriber to the Final Call, please do so.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
X, the
Phenomenal.
X, the X, the X.
That's right. That's right. Brother been repping for a long
For a
time,
long time.
and none of us are without issues in our life, but we always look to the best part of each other. If we could continue to look at the best part of one another, then we'll continue to bring out the best part of one another.
That's right. Settling on
Yes.
that best part. And also, as you may or may not know, we are proud distributors of the Pax Immune. So if you don't have yours, you need to get yours. All right.
Yes.
As our brother says, there's two kind of people. It's Paxers and Vaxers. Which one are you? Which one are you? That's the question.
Yeah, it's got to be a
Which
Paxton.
one are you? We hope that you're gonna be a Paxer with us. So we definitely want you to support that. If you want to know more information about it, definitely hit us in the inbox. let us know that that's something that you want to do. You want more information on it. But if you just want to order, then you can go right there. It is sliding across the screen to Etsy.com. Look for Nafiza Ali, and you can pick that wonderful product up. So you already know how we get down, and we are in the month of Ramadan, and your brother was inspired to do some Ramadan music. For those of you all who been with us a while, you heard this. But for my new guests, you know how it go. We gonna give you something new, all right?
All
So we
right.
hope you all enjoy this just for a few minutes anyway.
Rennie. Are we allowed to dance on the show?
Yes, sir.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh, I like that.
I do too. That's-
Come on. We had to put a little flair to it.
I hear the hook. I hear the hook.
That's a great song to break your fast to.
All right.
I thought you was gonna say a great song to break dance.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Make sure you finish your fast first.
Make sure you finish your fast first, though.
That's right.
We don't want you up there sweating, talking about I had to eat because I was listening to that song.
Right,
See?
right. No,
Don't blame us. Don't
Yes,
blame
sir.
us. All right, well, brothers and sisters, we are honored today with our dear brother, Brother Desmond Muhammad. We love our brother. We have known our brother for quite some time. Our brother is doing big things. This brother is the administrator of a dialysis center. I mean, he gonna tell us a little bit about how that came about. But you know, and he's gonna also tell us some great information on how to get the best out of our dialysis. So we want to welcome our brother with a Assalamu alaikum and a
Yes.
Ramadan Mubarak.
That's
Wa
right.
alaikum salam. Ramadan Kareem, sir, to you and your wonderful family. And where's that son of yours that used to hug me every Sunday? I hope you don't think he's too.
Schoolwork.
I hope you don't think he's too old now to hug me. You know what I mean? The way he used to hug me.
No, sir. No, sir, brother. No, sir. I still kiss my father on the forehead today every time I see him. So
That's right.
we don't grow out of hugs around here.
No,
That's
no. Got to be more affectionate.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. I agree. I
Yes,
agree.
definitely. How are your children?
Everybody's well by Allah's grace. You know, we grateful to Allah for health and for strength and, you know, everything that our children see that we could not even imagine seeing.
Mm,
Wow.
You know, we have to thank Allah that they still have their sanity.
yes.
The way that the world is bombarding the youth in particular with, you know, just not so good news. You know,
Right,
the
right.
aim and the purpose is to dumb down people and to show them as much filth as they possibly can to distract our youth from their destiny, which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan states that this is the Joshua generation.
Yeah.
So, those scholars who study scripture knows that, where our children are taking us as a people, is really at the zenith of where Allah intends to take us. So we're grateful to Allah that our children, just keeping their sanity in spite of all that's being thrown at them.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely,
Yes, sir.
brother.
That is beautiful.
And
That
we
is
will
beautiful.
continue to pray for our babies
I know
because,
That's
that's
right.
right.
well, Allah got them, but we're going to continue with our prayers for our children,
Yeah.
so that we can make this a better world, bringing the kingdom of God in, and so we want to go ahead and jump right on into our fireside chat.
That's right.
It's not an interview at all. It's
Not
just,
at all.
family getting together to have a little conversation.
That's
That's right.
Yes, sir. So, we want to start if you can just share a little bit about you and what it is that you do.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Well, let me always begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness there's no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Father Muhammad.
That's
We thank him for raising his messenger, Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And let me tell you something, we could never thank them enough. If we live to be 1,000 years old,
come
Right.
on now.
for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan magnifying the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teacher, and
Yes.
not just magnifying them, but being a perfect exemplar of the principles that they came to give to us, to indoctrinate us in the
Oh,
principles of Islam. So, in their names, I'd like to greet you in the greeting words of peace and pride. As Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Walaikum
alaikum
salam.
salam, sir.
And without being remiss in my duties, I would be negligent if I didn't mention our student regional minister, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad,
Sir.
who, as we know, is healing right now, and we're praying for his healing. And he gave me permission to do this interview,
Oh,
um,
praise to his
um,
Lord.
I guess a few months ago. But of course, I was struck with COVID, and
Yes.
that interrupted the interview, my life, and my activities of daily living. But thankful to Allah, I'm alive.
You
Yes,
alive.
sir.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
And you look well.
And you
All
look
praise is due
well,
to
brother.
Allah, and survived.
Yes.
Allahu
Yeah.
Akbar.
So my name is Brother Desmond. I was born on Dominica, island between Martinique and Guadeloupe. Lived there for 9 years, and then my family moved to St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. So my elementary school days, my junior high, and my high school, I was in St. Thomas. I did the military for a couple of years, and got out, and then I got fired from a job I was working, and it felt like that first breakup with that first boyfriend girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it cut very deep because I didn't see where I was, where they were justified in firing me,
Mm.
for no reason. So I decided to go to college the next day, and
Okay.
of course I had to take remedial classes because I had not studied. Just when you're on the streets, you're not really utilizing your brain and your mind, so it kind of atrophy, it shrinks, for better choice of
Right.
word.
Yes, sir.
So I took a remedial course, and the English professor, she said, "Oh my God, you're very talented, but you're gonna have to put some work in."
Mm.
So I started on my journey taking classes, and about my second semester, my mom said, Des, why don't you become a nurse? And that was like nowhere on the radar because math is my favorite subject. Before you put a mathematical equation on the board, whether it be functions, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, I understand it. By the time the teacher removes the chalk, I've already ingested it. So I took math in college, and
Wow.
it was my first love. So I was thinking more along the lines of engineering or something of that nature. And my mom said, "Why don't you try nursing school?" And she always wanted to be a nurse, so I she became a nurse vicariously through me.
Oh,
And
wow.
I, started taking all the prerequisites, and then 20 something years later, here I am
Mm. Yes, sir.
as a nurse. So well, my first job was on a telemetry cardiac unit, And
Mm.
then I did some step down, some post open heart step down. I've worked, of course, dialysis since 2005. Um, I also did a lot of plasma exchange for some of the autoimmune diseases, a lot of
Okay.
white blood cell depletion. I
Wow.
also did pediatric dialysis. That
Oh,
lasted for about 2 years. I think that was a little stressful for me.
yeah.
It takes a special kind of nurse to do, pediatric
Yeah.
nursing, because the toll that the children, just care for the children, and
Right. Right.
takes on you, knowing that you've lived your life and they haven't had an opportunity to live theirs. So I did that for a couple of years. I
Mm.
also did psychiatric nursing.
Okay.
Yeah, did that for a little while. I did some insurance work also.
Oh
Did
wow.
med surge. So man, I've been all over the
Yeah.
the hospital.
Okay. Wow.
I even hung out with the security guards, man.
Say all the people are important, to get the job done. All praise is due to
Praise be to
Allah.
Allah.
Due to Allah.
So,
Brother, that's go ahead.
so right now, I, you know, living in Florida, my children living here, I decided to do some travel nursing, which brought me to Albany, Georgia. And of course, I would work 7 days on, off 7 days, and give me an opportunity to visit my children.
Okay.
Then I took another assignment in Marietta, and then I took a job in the float pool where they have 23 clinics that I would float to. And then I
Mm.
was asked to be an administrator, and I accepted the job to facilitate a dialysis clinic, and currently that's what I do now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All praise
Wow.
is due
Wow.
to
And praise be
Allah.
to Allah.
Wow. Wow.
That is quite a bit of experience, brother.
Yes, yes, yes.
Quite a bit. So you actually was a technician at one point in the dialysis center?
Well, no, I was a certified nursing assistant first,
Okay.
and I became a
Okay.
nurse. And then after I became a nurse, then I became a dialysis nurse.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
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 All right. I was only in the center for maybe 6 weeks total.
Okay.
Um, 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
10 oh, okay, well, 5 the first, and then for training. Right. So we had already decided we were, going
It,
home, but
it was 15, but you did 5 at first, and then we had to do a 10-week training.
was it I'm not sure the timeline on it, but that was the only amount of time that I actually spent in center. And the nurses and the technicians were so important to make my transition into dialysis um palatable, because I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it, but they really did make a difference. So, in your experience, dealing with the different patients that are coming in, you know, what has been your overall experience with the clients? I guess you can call them patients, maybe.
Yes,
Patients,
yes.
overall, coming in, their anxieties, and helping to make that transition a little bit better for them.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is it's uncharted territory for 99.999% of the clients.
Right.
You go from normal kidney function to all of a sudden being told you're going to be on dialysis. There's no cure, quote unquote,
Right.
and it's a change in lifestyle because you now have prescribed times,
Mm,
appointment times, chair times that you have to be at the clinic to dialyze anywhere from 3 to 4 to 4.5 hours, 3 times per week for most cases. So it somewhat interrupts your activities of daily living, your workflow, whatever it is that you had to do is now centered around dialysis.
right.
So you lose a bit of control to
Mm,
some degree if we look at things in the contemporary way, and that can um, have a psychological effect on a lot of people. I've
right.
seen a lot of people angry, um, and sometimes a lot of people come in with faith that the kidneys are going to be reversed, but as time, of course, elapses and goes on, sometimes that tends to dissipate. because of the prognosis and the cause of their kidney failure. So, just not knowing,
Right.
just not knowing,
Mm.
it's an uncharted territory. And so explaining to people the process in novice terms gives a sense of comfort, a degree of comfort, enough to make them somewhat stable in mind.
Right.
So that's very important that is explained to them,
Mm.
what they're going through. And for those who may not know, dialysis is basically doing everything for the individual that the kidneys used to do. So it means putting a port in a large blood vessel, um, or creating one in the arm where we can use needles and you know pulling the blood out, running it through a synthetic filter which acts as a kidney, and
Mm-hmm.
putting it back into the person's body. Because the breakdown of food and the breakdown of everything that we eat and drink, there are toxins.
Right.
And so those toxins have to be filtered out. And the kidneys, of course, is responsible for filtering those toxins and a whole lot more that the kidney does. We could talk about it as we go on. Because
Right.
if we knew what the kidneys does or do, we would be much more conscious. But it doesn't mean that um, sometimes we don't inherit hypertension, but our lifestyle certainly lends to and compounding the fact that we inherit some things, hereditary, but sometimes our lifestyle here in America does not help. So the anxiety level is high. Sometimes it interrupts the workflow and the normal finances of what you used to bring in. Sometimes you have to go on disability. That's a shift in
Right.
economic status, if you would. So that can have a mental strain,
Mm-hmm.
and people, especially people who other people depend on, you know, that can be a strain, going from, making so much money to now a fixed income,
Right.
so
Right.
that, and then some people have not paid into the system a lot. So they're limited to Medicaid as opposed to Medicare and Medicaid. And sometimes even their transportation is limited, so I've seen those hardships, and I've seen social workers, do all that they can to extract from the resources that are available to help the patients as much as they can. But you have to imagine going from driving to now waiting for a bus. That can be a little taxing
Yes.
at times, and it's a serious shift, a mental shift. Going on dialysis full time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, indeed.
Absolutely. Just a short period of time that I was in the clinic, you would see people sitting there for like, I've been here for an hour, and they're calling the driver, and it's very frustrating,
Mhm.
that you like you said, it's a total shift in everything. You're used to doing for yourself, and I know
Right.
for me, I have to depend so much on my husband now. He's my caretaker at home.
That's why we married him.
Absolutely.
If you
Absolutely.
can't use him, don't marry him. And I didn't say abuse him. I didn't say misuse him, but use him. That's
That's
why you married
that's what our beloved minister say, right? Everybody
him.
get used. You just
That's
don't
right.
want to be misused.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, in dealing with that, the whole mental process of the change, when you come into, dialysis and having oh, someone is going to join us. So we have to make some space. Guess he wanted to be present. But with that big shift in mental, because sometimes you can go in even into a depressed state,
My
just
man right there.
the mental part for me. I was diagnosed in 2014, and it took me
Hmm.
5 years to actually get on dialysis because I was eating my one meal a day, striving to stay away from dialysis. But it just got to the point I had to go in. And I mean, the nurse was so important. Her name was Donna, and the technician, Janet. They made that transition for me a lot easier in soothing me, you
Right.
know, and as a nurse, what are some things that you can suggest um, to a new dialysis patient when they first come into the center and helping them to, just be a little bit more at ease?
Well, there's a parable in the Holy Quran of Moses following the wise men. He said, you can't have patience unless you have a comprehensive knowledge. So one of the first things that they can do is educate themselves, and not depend on others to educate them. So in if you're able to educate yourself, read and research on the dialysis process, on kidney failure, then when a healthcare professional brings it to you, then you're more apt to receiving it. And what they give you will enhance what you've already studied. So it'll give you a degree of patience. Not saying that you won't have the ups and downs and you won't have to go through the vicissitudes of every dialysis patient, but it gives you an advantage if you study what's being done to you. That way you can also be an advocate for yourself,
Yes.
because not everyone is the best. Some of us are very clinical. We do things in a very robotic way, but we're not necessarily advocates, or we could advocate better, for better choice of words. So you can advocate for yourself the more you know about the dialysis process. That's one of the things that you can do. And the second thing that you can do is follow instructions. We're creatures of habits, and we're very rebellious at times, and some of the habits of not following what the doctor says can, over a long period of time, have, the effects that compounds, your situation when it's time to get a kidney transplant,
Okay.
and so you don't want to eat anything, try to follow the diet regimen, eat, do what you're supposed to do,
Right.
and control the variables you can control, and do
Mm.
the best that you can, and not be, not miss dialysis, because our kidneys regulate functions 24 hours a day, and then you're doing it 3 to 4 hours per day, 3 days per week. So you're already limited in the amount of time to remove toxins, to regulate the affairs of your body.
Mm.
And then to miss dialysis, it's just walking around with toxins in your blood. So one of the things I can say is, come to your treatment, number one, because no matter what you're going through as a dialysis patient, it's not going to get better without dialysis.
Mm.
I think I need to say that again. No matter what you're going through as a patient, it's not going to get any better without dialysis. So that's what I would say. Some of the things that you can do is educate yourself, ask questions.
Mm.
If you don't think something is right, don't be afraid to file a grievance. I tell my patients all the time, file a grievance. I
Right.
don't want you to sit there, if one of us as workers are rogue, and just take it, because, if you perceive that something is unfair or not in your favor, then file a grievance. And that's the
Right.
only way as administrators that we can know that, you're not being treated fairly, or,
Mm.
something is not in your favor, or something you'd like more, even just more explanation of, so you can have
Right.
a better understanding. So, file a grievance if you need to file a grievance. It's okay.
Yes. You
Mhm.
went right into the heart of the conversation is, how to get the best out of dialysis. And one of the best, as you were saying, to get out of dialysis is to show up and get it. And the eating and the drinking, you know, um, if you can go a little bit deeper into how important that is and some of the differences you've seen in your patients, those who follow the renal diet, those who are striving to eat healthy and, live their best life, as opposed to those who may have slipped into a depression and just eat and drink what they want. What are the some of the comparisons of those?
Well, firstly, we have a hard time following the diet regimen without kidney failure. So just imagine adding kidney failure, to that. The things that used to be good for you, it's not that it's not good for you anymore, but in excesses, and in the inability for the body to remove, some of the things that are good for you, can become lethal if you're a dialysis patient,
Right.
right? So when you look at eating bananas, good for you, oranges, you know, some red potatoes, white potatoes, not too much. But those things have a lot of potassium. And but potassium is one of the major um, ions in the heart and the way the heart functions. So the
Mm,
levels, if they're too high, the way that your heart beats, which is called a rhythm, you can call it cause a dysrhythmia where your heart beats and dances differently. And so, eating the wrong foods as a dialysis patient, now you have, high levels of potassium, and you can literally have a heart attack and just literally die.
mm,
So it's going from what used to be good for you, quote unquote, to now limiting those things because it could
right.
have such a detrimental effect, and where mortality is imminent if you don't control your diet. Some of the other things is you know your fluid intake, because naturally your kidneys would excrete some of the fluid to keep homeostasis, balance in your body. And
Right.
all of a sudden now when you drink, your body has to do something with that water. There's a couple of places the water is going to go. It's going to be in your vessels, which is intravascularly. It's going to be outside of your vessels and outside of the cells also, which is extracellular, or it's going to be inside of the cell, which is intracellularly. So there's a constant shifting of fluids,
Right.
and the body tries its best to balance it. If you're playing a lot of basketball and the body can't shift it fast enough from the vessels all the way back into the cells, you're losing it at a rate that you're putting it in. Then if you cramp, so cramping is a byproduct of dialysis. And
Right.
naturally, water follows salt. So you lose a lot of salt, you lose a lot of water. So, those are some of the things. And so you have to control the amount of fluid that you drink. Why? Because there's nowhere for it to go.
Mm,
Some people do urinate, but of course, urine is decreased. And sometimes in many cases, it abates, it stops. So there's no
right.
more urination. So,
Right.
you have to figure, you're walking around with, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 liters of fluid until your next dialysis. Well, that places a burden on the heart,
Yes.
because now the heart has to now work extra hard, you see. And
Mm,
after a while, the heart working that hard, now it's like overcompensation, but it stays there,
mm,
and so it has
right.
a detriment. So sometimes dialysis patients, if they're not compliant with their fluid intake, they lose the elasticity of their heart, which is called the ejection fraction, how forceful your heart can pump. And so over a long
Right.
period of time, many of them go into congestive heart failure,
Okay.
if you would, and they lose the function of their heart because of non-compliance with the diet regimen.
Yes, sir. That is so important. So important to me. Because of course I'm pretty good around 32 to 40 ounces, and I don't retain a lot because I am still able to, process some of the fluids out.
Hmm.
But it scared me when I first went on dialysis. They were taking so much fluid off of me, I stopped urinating, and that freaked me out. I mean, it really did. That, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? This is a everyday function, several times a day, and then for that to stop. But when I was able to go from the initial introduction to home dialysis to my training, they increased my what is it, the weight,
Dry weight.
Driveway.
my dry weight. They increased it, and then I started seeing more.
Hmm.
And now that I'm at home and I'm able to control it more, it's increased. And then I do a lot of different things also, as far as dietary supplements that also help my body, and striving to eat the way that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to eat. My doctor and my nurse are always just so ecstatic about my lab work when it comes back every month.
That is true.
That, wow, this is increasing, this is better, this is, you're doing this and doing that, and I can see it, and I feel so much better than, of course, when I first went on to dialysis. So I have to bear witness that the way that you eat definitely makes a difference in how you feel. Now, I'm able to dilate 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the 3. Um, so I don't really give my body a lot of time to build up on the fluids.
Right.
So I just think that that's so important, that the way that we eat and the way that we deal with being on dialysis makes such a big difference in our life. You can either be depressed or you can enjoy your life, in spite of the situation and the circumstances.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, those are very good points that you make. I failed to mention that every time your husband hugs you, also it normalizes your blood.
Yeah, yeah. I need to be normal.
Yes, it's prescription from the great physician, God Himself.
Yes, yes, that does make a big difference. I'm going to ask the gentleman if you all have any questions that you want to ask,
I do.
brother.
My question is, how important is proper mindset when it comes to, number one, dealing with what's going on, and then number two, really taking charge of that post that is you to be the best that you can possibly be despite what's going on. How important is mindset with that?
Yeah, well, very good question. Well, mindset, the question that you're asking is not limited to dialysis. You know, mindset is in everything. The scripture said in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst men. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, in words are light, life, and power.
That's right.
Words are only expressed thoughts. So when you look at mindset, you're talking about the process of thinking on how to approach life, how to approach disciplines, how to approach economics, how to approach marriage. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has a series, How to Give Birth to a God.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. There's a special message, a message to the Black man in America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Why? Because that message is coded with producing a mindset, in the Black man. It's not to the detriment of the white man,
Mm,
because you don't have to denounce what was to establish what is.
that's
Come
right.
on now.
Right? So the intent with mindset is to regulate how we think and how we approach life.
Mm,
So that's not limited to dialysis. Now, if you come from a a life that you never had the proper mindset towards life itself, then when you come to dialysis and you bring that same habit, as we're creatures of habit, then that's what makes the transition a lot more difficult. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 85%, right? Easy to lead in the
wrong
wrong
direction.
direction,
That's
right?
right.
Hard to lead in the right direction, right?
That's
Do not
right.
know their origin in life, poison animal eaters. So you're looking at the masses of people who haven't learned to regulate even their own affairs. And then you compound it with the diagnosis of renal failure. And
Mm,
now all of a sudden you're asking people who are already undisciplined to now have the most discipline.
right.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yes,
It's a
sir.
sir.
transition to get us to go from not thinking right to thinking right without dialysis.
Mm,
Mm.
So now when you add dialysis into the equation, now
right.
you're compounding the situation.
Mm,
But sometimes events move us. You remember, now we're creatures and we're moved by desire, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Closing the Gap. So if we're moved by desire and dialysis is now inflicted upon you, it's almost like an insult.
mm,
Why? Because you didn't choose it. We may
Right.
have chosen a lifestyle that may have added to or sped up renal failure, you see, but it's not something we chose wholeheartedly to say, I really want this,
no,
I'm sure you did.
because we all have an aversion to pain. That's
exactly.
natural. We dislike pain, you see. So naturally, asking someone to all of a sudden become disciplined, it's going to take some time.
Hmm.
And this is where you need nurses and healthcare, um, workers to be more empathetic towards patients.
Right.
And because the patients, based on socioeconomic, based on anger, based on mood, can be very rude at times. And you have to set boundaries. But the last thing that we want to do is do anything or say anything to enhance the pain of someone who's already afflicted,
Right.
right?
Ab-
By a
oh,
disease
absolutely.
process or a diagnosis of renal failure. So the
Mm-hmm.
mindset there, brother, as you mentioned, it is very important because if you're not careful, you're going to wallow and you're going to have a sense of regret, what you could have done differently. Or you could say, well, this is the end of it.
Right.
Or you could take the mindset very, very casual that, hey, we're going to die anyway. So I'm going to just go ahead and enjoy and do whatever. And I've seen
Mm-hmm.
patients live like that. And I've
Yeah.
seen them die like that also.
Right.
You see? So the mindset is paramount. It's
Yeah.
actually first because the book said, not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit, thus saith the Lord.
Mm.
That's right.
Hmm? When
Yeah.
you read the word of God, it can put you in a good spirit.
Come on now.
When you read other things, it can, of course, stultify or diminish
Mm.
or
Right.
attenuate your spirit,
Go
right?
ahead.
It
Go
can
ahead.
do away with your spirit. So it's important for dialysis patients to me, find something that they can depend on. And I say start with prayer.
Right.
I'm not telling you to come to this religion or go to that religion, but whatever spirituality whatever God pray. Pray,
Yeah.
pray. Why? Because prayer will remove, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our study guides, some of the irritability.
Mm.
You see, prayer
Yeah.
reaffirms you with whatever your goals are. So
That's
a
right.
good place to start is prayer.
Yes, sir.
Very good place to start is prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I may not be able to change my condition, but what can I do to aid myself in the rehabilitative process?
Right.
And many of us think that, everything is supposed to fall on our laps, but no, there is a degree of responsibility on us to help ourselves,
That's
That's right.
right.
right?
That's right.
Accept your own end
Be
Be
and be
yourself.
yourself.
yourself, to
That's
do
right.
something for self or suffer the consequences,
Come
I
on
you
didn't
now.
think
know.
of it that way, brother.
Mhm.
So that word, I didn't think of it that way. Go ahead.
Right, right. So I would say to everyone, find a support group, you know,
Yes.
because support groups are good because they're focused on keeping that person in a particular mindset.
Yes.
Because this world, especially the Western world, there are a lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And so you
Right.
get distracted from what you're supposed to be doing. And you don't have a lot of wiggle room with kidney failure. So
Right.
prayer is a good place to start.
Yes, sir.
Support groups, it's a good place to
Like love
be.
my kidneys.
Hmm. And read stories of other people. Google. Stories of people who are on dialysis and what they have to say.
Right.
Why? Because they can put you into the mindset because they've experienced it. It's
Mm.
different from me telling it than
Right.
someone else who has gone through it.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
You
That's
see? And so you can always Google stories and see how people cope. And you can pick up coping mechanisms from other dialysis patients as to
Right.
how they cope, right? And begin to
Absolutely.
help yourself to frame that mindset that could help you focus on your health in spite of what you've been afflicted with. Not
Right.
saying you're not going to have ups and downs, not saying there's not going to be mood changes, not saying that we're not going to go through, some of the things that accompany any diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is help yourself by focusing on some of the aforementioned things that I stated.
Yes,
But
sir.
mindset there, brother, is everything.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
You know,
I thought you was gonna say that. That's why I thought you was gonna say that.
brother, that's actually one of the main reasons that we started Love My Kidneys, and being having it on social media. Because when I first came into dialysis, I was given a couple of social media groups that I could join, but they were all so depressing. Oh, this went wrong and that went wrong, and my legs, and it was just I felt no comfort in it. And I said, no, I love my kidneys, and I need to be excited about the process of my body regenerating. I need to be excited about the God being in control, and nobody knows the end of my result but him. you
right.
know. And so we love my kidney. That's really where it was born from. You know, I'm not a one to give up. You
That's
know, I know that the body has the ability to heal itself if you put it in a proper environment.
that's right
You
now.
know, I'm not telling everybody, you know, that deals with chronic kidney disease that they'll be able to come off of dialysis, because I don't know your situation. I don't know what put you in your situation.
That's
You know, I can
Hmm.
only about my journey, you know, and my journey is to know that God is good all the time,
all the
you know,
time.
and I
Right.
walk the path with Him. And so, although I am dealing and healing from chronic kidney disease, I look at Job. You know, I look at Jesus. I look at all the men of God and women of God that have had to sacrifice, that have had to go through trials and tribulations, you
Right.
know, in their life, but God always give them the victory. Now,
Right.
the level of the victory depends on God, you know, but if you walk with the mind of God and the spirit of God, then your walk and your struggles will be that much lighter, because He knows how to lift burdens. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, you do. You have ups, you have downs. You know, you have a lot of different things that happen in your life. But when you have the right mind and the right spirit and the right environment, I really talk a lot about the environment. You know, what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're thinking, what you're looking at. Are you
Yes.
looking, getting some sunshine, opening up the windows and getting fresh air? You know, all of those things make a difference, you know, in this process, you know, and that's what
Hmm.
Love My Kidneys is all about. We're trying and we are making an effort to be a support group for those who want to try to do things in a holistic way, you know, in a natural way, and you know, taking control. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's. I got to commend you firstly on Love My Kidneys because it creates a medium and a platform with positive energy. Sometimes, if we're in a group, we can begin to, um, I guess, sympathize with each other so much that it becomes weighty because everyone has a story to tell, as
Right.
opposed to looking at things, in a balanced way, as best possible, of course.
Right.
Um, to have a positive outlook, and the positive outlook may not necessarily mean you're off of dialysis, but the positive outlook, it means that if you have life and whatever your faculties you still have, utilize those faculties.
That's right.
There's dialysis at sea where you can take a cruise,
Come on now. Come on
you
now.
know, and
Right.
and people need to know that these things are available. Dialysis doesn't mean the end with all. It just means that there's a cessation, an interruption in your activities of daily living, but you can still travel.
That's right.
You can still travel. Absolutely. You can still go to a concert.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We
You can
went to
still listen to
Savior's
music.
Day.
There's still some things that you can do in a positive way, in
That's
spite of
right.
being on dialysis. Yeah.
We
So
did
I would.
it last year. Last year for Savior's Day when we were in Detroit. I had just gotten through with my training, like the end of January, and in February we were at Savior's Day, and my we were in the hotel and we set the machine up, and my husband was able to give me the dialysis right there. My mother and his mother were there, and they were so impressed with how well he handled himself, and you know, just our ability to get that done and not interrupt our vacation, you know. And that was really really I one of the best parts for me for home dialysis
Yeah.
is that
Yes.
it allows me that flexibility and to be able to travel and not worry, you know, about who's going to be sticking me, you know, it's him.
Yeah. I'm starting to like him. You know that? But if hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good,
Assalamu alaikum.
good. Walaikum salam, sir.
Well, really, I don't have much to say. I mean, I was just kind of listening about mindset and how it's everything, and how you have to really be in the right mind. Because I know that for me, I've been scared, but I do need to learn how. Just in case my dad, God forbid, but he ever got incapacitated, to be able to give my mom the treatment as well. Because I know it's another thing. You have to always have a backup person that
Hmm.
knows to do it as well, because I mean, you never know how
Yes,
crazy
sir.
things are getting. But yeah, like I was really just thinking about what you said about mindset. And I've been striving to change my mindset and really, get back focused because it was this guy on TikTok, black guy. He was asking, why I keep forgetting like what I'm supposed to be doing every minute and I can't focus. Like he was going to the hardware store to get
Hmm.
some hardware pieces, and he like, I don't even remember. I'm like, and I was like you said, I told him exactly what you said. I was like, you need prayer, study, take your walk, different things like that, to get
Hmm.
your mind stimulated because you have to stay focused. Like you said, there's so many distractions out here. Cause for me, I'm in the black anime and comic industry, and the games and stuff can be very distracting. And you can be like, oh yeah, let me play this, and then you're supposed to be doing something totally different, and you have to stop yourself because like I really see how the cell phone it's a benefit, but I see how it's a weakness too because because you get obsessed, especially the youth like my age and me. Sometimes you just realize like, dang, I'm obsessed with likes and what people are saying and if they like it or not. When I honestly and truth, it don't matter. I mean, as long as you're saying the truth and it's correct.
Right. That was God bearing witness to what you say.
That's right. Allahu Akbar. Allahu
Well,
Akbar.
I'll say this to you, nephew, and that's the young man who used to give me a hug every Sunday, at the mosque, and I appreciate those hugs, and they go a long way. Um, you know, whatever music you like, you couldn't really enjoy it without ears, and the faculty of hearing and distinguishing and processing audible sounds.
Mm.
Whatever food you like, you couldn't enjoy it without taste buds, and breaking it down with saliva and your digestive system. Whatever you like to see, you couldn't process it without the faculty of seeing.
Mm.
So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, nothing supersedes the sanctity of human life. And so kidney function is part of the human life and the human physiological life, the way the body operates. So when you're helping your mother with dialysis, you're helping the ultimate gift that allows all of us to enjoy all the other gifts that we think is important, but none of them supersedes life. No matter how nice the car, if you don't have life, you can't drive it.
Come on
You
now.
know? You can ride in it from the church to the burial ground, but you,
Yes, sir.
but you can't drive it. So life is so important. So I want you to take just a different approach towards helping. What you can do is expose yourself, look on for as long as you can, and then turn away. And then your body will begin to adapt. And if it first was only 10 minutes, the next time it's going to be 15 or 20 minutes, right? Because we're creatures of adaptation. You're going to adapt, so just incrementally make motion towards learning everything that your father does to help your mother, and you'll be of the noble ones. Because the Holy Quran says, offer to your parents the wings of humility.
Mm.
Hmm?
That's
And what
right.
more can you do than offer to help your mother, especially during her most difficult times? She may not say it's difficult because she got a positive attitude, right? But more difficult than the norm, for better choice of words. So just take that approach, that you're pleasing Allah, by helping your mother. And what better person to help? We help strangers, we help people we don't know. Well,
Mm.
we want to help everybody. But when it comes to your own, you should start at home first,
That's
and,
right.
and, and that's the importance of helping moms.
Yes.
That's right. That's
And
right.
all praises due
Yes,
to
sir.
Allah, brother.
Mhm.
That those are beautiful, beautiful words. Not just, of course, for my son, but for a lot of the youth out there that are dealing with parents, that are going through this, and they don't always see. It's a lot for everybody. I know because
Mhm.
at one point for me, my husband was like, "You ain't going nowhere, girl." But I was like, "I'm going back to Atlanta. I'm going to go back to Georgia. I don't want you all to have to endure this with me." Because you kind of feel like that I'm going to be a burden, on my family. But they both let me know that they wasn't having none of that. you
we
know.
we not gonna hold you, but I gotta tell you the story in its completeness now. So she was gonna make a decision. I had just started working here at Delta. She gonna make a decision that she's gonna leave Tucson, Arizona, and go back to Macon without me, without my son. She just go and be by herself. So I didn't get mad at her. I played Atlantic Star. You know the song Send for Me? I say, so when you feel like that again, put a message in the bottle. I don't care how you do it, but let me know so I can come with you.
So I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to Allah for the support system, and that is so important. I know a lot of people out there on dialysis don't necessarily have the support system. And it's another reason and another thing that we say to our listening audience that, we want to be your support system. Call us. We are
Hmm.
available. Directly message us so that we can be that support system, even if it's just a word of encouragement. If we're able to help you go and get a massage, pay for you to go get a massage because you can't afford it, but you need it. You know what I'm saying? We want
Right.
to be there for you. Love My Kidney Center, which is our goal. We're working on a non for profit so that we can be able to help afford different modalities of healing, for dialysis patients, and just being that support system for them, encouraging them with the knowledge and the wisdom that we have received, mostly through the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad,
That's right.
because that is
Right.
absolutely what we follow, is the teachings. And actually, my naturopathic doctor is well, I have two, but both of them follow How to Eat to Live, and they are guiding me and helping me on my journey, and that's something that really has been just having positive people around me to help me, through this difficult period, because as you say, it is a challenge, but I just try not to focus on that end of it. I just looking at the other end, me just feeling better and getting better.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for your story, and for highlighting the monumental book, How to Eat to Live, books 1 and 2 by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Diabetes accounts for the majority of kidney failure.
Mm,
Diabetes, the inability of the body um, to regulate, the blood sugar content,
right.
um, and also a high blood pressure. Those are
Hmm.
the two killers. Diabetes first, then hypertension.
Right.
When you look at some of the processed foods that we eat,
Mm,
some of the meats that are processed, um, you know, it's not the best of foods.
right.
Well, some people say, well, my grandmama ate it, or
Mm,
my great grandpa, he ate it. Well, we're no longer slaves.
that's
We're
right.
no longer in post-construction era. We're no longer in antebellum South, when we had limited knowledge. Now
Mm,
we have access to knowledge. So ignorance here is not the denial of um, our slave master and their children for information. Ignorance here is we lack the desire to learn more about ourselves.
oh,
So
teach,
what
brother.
we can do is study more. Why? Because we can't continue to eat the way that we eat, because the kidneys are only about the size of a fist. But let me tell you something. The kidneys produces calcitriol, which is a raw form of vitamin D. It's
Mm,
responsible for the calcium in your blood, right? Because you have uptake from the intestines into the bloodstream. So it regulates your normal blood calcium levels. It produces epoetin or erythropoietin, and that stimulates the body to make more red blood cells, because the lifespan of a red blood cell is just a couple of days, if
mm,
that, you see? And
right.
so that regulates the body to make, so you can become anemic with renal insufficiency because your kidneys is no longer producing the kind of erythropoietin that the body normally produces. It
Right.
regulates the blood pressure because it produces renin, hmm, that really constricts or make the vessels small on the peripheries, right? The arterial vessels, so it can, raise blood pressure or lower blood pressure just through the kidneys. So
Right.
there's so many things, and of course it filters all the toxins, and it keeps the balance of how much water to keep in the body and how much keeps you hydrated, your pH. I mean, there's so much that this little kidney does that we have to just think better and begin to eat better and stay away from processed food and get back to cooking. And this is not to just give credit to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We can do that, but the main thing is getting the content out of the book, so we can have better quality of lives. If we
Yes.
eat better, if we think better, of course, we can eat better. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live, is designed to frame a mindset as to how to approach our dietary regimen in life, right? So we can have life, and as Jesus said, life more
Abundant.
abundantly,
That's
right?
right.
As opposed to laying up in hospital beds. And don't get me wrong, the innocent goes to trial too. But we
Right.
should control everything within our power, the variables that we can control to live better lives. So
That's
those are
right.
some of the things that the kidneys do. And we should be very, very, very conscious that when you lose your kidneys, you lose a whole lot.
Yes.
They're small, but they're very significant,
Yes, sir. You
right?
are absolutely right. And so sometimes we start our show off with "I love my kidneys," and we have to get back there and rub our kidneys.
Rub 'em.
You know,
Rub 'em.
we gotta let your kidneys know that you love them. You know,
Yeah,
I love them. Whenever they do what they supposed to do, I say, "I love you, thank you." We got to speak life, into our bodies, into our minds. Brother Desmond, it has truly been such an honor and a pleasure to
Indeed.
have you on Love My Kidneys. You
thank
know,
you.
we thank Allah for your time and your energy and your knowledge
That's right.
and your spirit.
Yes.
It
Praise
has
be to
truly.
Allah.
I know that our our guests are, I call them my family. All of my family and my friends that watch the show. I know they're going to appreciate this show, and inshallah, one day we will have you back again,
Yes.
to share anything else that you may want to, with our guests, any new information that comes up. I know there's always, new things on the horizon. We will talk about it maybe at another time about the stem cells and how they have these artificial kidneys that is something that's been they've been working on.
Right.
Maybe share some of that information with us at a later date.
Praise be to Allah. Well, I'm honored to be on your show. Thank you for having me. And whenever you want to do part two, part three, part four, it's informative
All
to the
praises.
people. And the best that we can do is to hurl truth at falsehood until it knocks out his brain, according to the Holy Quran. So it's our duty, if we know, to inform the people. So it's never a burden to
Yeah,
inform the people. I enjoy informing because I've been informed by God, His Christ, and of course,
that's
the
right.
Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our midst.
That's
Yes,
beautiful.
sir.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. And
Beautiful.
we definitely don't hide our gifts in a bushel basket, right behind our backs. No, we share it.
You see, we
That's
got
We
right.
all we got gifts.
that's right. So we pray to Allah that He continues to bless you and your family, blessing you with the patience, to continue to serve our people the way that you do.
Right. Maybe in the future, what we can do is I can, if you allow me to screen share, I can maybe put up illustrations of
Oh,
dialysis, the machine, how
okay,
it works, and walk your audience through the process in novice terms and also in scientific terms, both,
okay.
to see what it entails.
Oh,
So
I
they,
would like that.
Would
maybe if we
love.
see what's happening, we'll do a better job of taking care of Love My Kidneys.
That's
Yes,
right. That's
sir.
right. Because we need to understand. Yes, sir. We'll definitely
Beautiful.
plan that. Okay, I'll be in touch with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, and thank you, Brother Carter.
Yes, sir, brother.
Yeah.
May Allah bless you. I always enjoy your spirit since the first time I met you. And, you always impress me with what God has given you.
Mm.
That's
Praise be
knowledge,
to Allah.
understanding, and the spirit on top of that is like the butter on the toast.
Well, as they say in the church, we do it for His name,
That's
for His
right.
honor, and for
Yes.
His glory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, may Allah continue to bless you and your family. Please get a greetings to your family for us. May Allah continue to bless you with a successful Ramadan and thank you so much for giving us some of your time, brother, when we know how busy you are. Thank you.
You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Alaikum
alaikum
salam.
salam. All praise is due to Allah.
All praise is due to Allah. Go ahead. I'm
Yes,
gonna let you go first.
family. What a pleasure and honor to have such a brother in our midst that Allah has blessed us with the knowledge that He shared with us today. I think we all are inspired. I pray that you are inspired to love your kidneys that much more now that you have a little bit more knowledge and information about how to love your kidneys. And inshallah, he will be back maybe once again, as he said, to discuss a little bit more of how the machine works and what it does. I know it's saving my life, and I'm grateful to Allah, for my husband. That's one of the prayers that he prayed every time when we start our dialysis. We thank Allah for those persons who created this machine, that allows us to be on dialysis and do what our kidneys aren't able to do at the moment. So all praise is due to Allah. What did you want to share?
Well, family, as always, we thank you so much for being with us. You could have been anywhere and everywhere, but we thank you for being right here again. We thank Allah for Brother Desmond, Student Minister Desmond Muhammad, and what he's doing in these hospitals. And just go to show you when God got something for you, boy,
Mm,
and he will definitely make you shine, and we thank Allah for our brother and all that he's doing. And we thank Allah for this platform because it allows us to talk with great brothers and sisters like Brother Desmond and many others to come, and Sister Dr. Tisha, and soon to come Dr. Keeley, and Sister Patrice, Sister Dr. Patrice, and we just thank Allah for these opportunities because if Allah had not set us on this path, we
mm.
wouldn't have this platform to do that. And we got to get a special shout out to Brother Ben X because the ABS tribe was the remotivator,
Mm.
the re-inspiration once again to get back on this track. We had done it for a couple of years before through Blog Talk, but never like this live and video. And if it wasn't for our brother and Brother Jake and the whole staff over at the ABS tribe, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. Well, family, with that, as you know, with that, we got to celebrate because that was a big guest. Not that all our guests not big. That brother dropped some heavy wisdom. That's what I'm
That's
talking
right.
about. That's what made
Right.
him a big guest because he dropped some heavy wisdom that can help us in our journey to be better at loving and healing our kidneys. So before we jump off and get done, remember to always love your kidneys.
That's right.
That's right. Remember to love your kidneys. Remember to let the spark in your mind create
Create a
a
new
new
reality.
reality and be the best because you are absolutely the best.
That's right.
You the mighty, the wise, and the powerful, but you don't know it. But Allah has let us to know
That's
that
right.
you are just that. So we
And it
gonna
takes a lot of love,
come on
family.
now.
It takes a lot of love, loving yourself, loving if you're helping somebody who's on dialysis, if you're the one driving them, brother. Student Minister Daniel on Sunday lecture was talking about this very same thing, how it is a burden on the person who has to take you to dialysis. So make sure you thank those people that are helping you in your life. Even though they may fuss sometimes about doing it or seem irritable because they got to do it, it's a challenge for them, but let them know that you appreciate them. Give them that hug, like Brother Desmond said, Minister Desmond, Student Minister Desmond said, there's energy in that. So let's do that for one another, family. We love you. We thank Allah for you. We appreciate you being here on this Thinking Thursday with us. And we look forward to continuing sharing good and great information with you that will help you be a better human being.
We dropping about to drop this cash app so you can continue to support what it is that we do.
That's right. We
You know,
need we need your assistance with Love My Kidneys. All right, dollar sign Love My Kidneys at Cash App. If you prefer to send it another kind of way, always direct message. Either direct messages here. You can also send an email at lovemykidneys@yahoo.com.
that's
Okay.
right.
You can email me there. I'm going to have to start saying that more often because sometimes you may want to say something private to me, and you are welcome to do that. Lovemykidneys@yahoo.com. That is the email address where you can send your request as we're working to create our non for profit organization, Love My Kidney Center. We're raising money. So we definitely need your help in our efforts so that we can assist others with finding healthy modalities to healing.
All right. And we're going to have a celebration.
That's right, because it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day. We're going to have a celebration. And we pray that you all enjoy this song, and then we're going to close it down. All right?
You act like you know what you're doing on there.
Come on, man.
All right, it's the Ramadan party.
Come on now.
Cause what? A Ramadan party don't stop, y'all.
Come on now. Oh!
All right, Chicago.
Come on now.
Where y'all at?
Where you at?
All right. All right. You know we had to wake you up this
So we
morning.
had to wake you up this morning. So all praises are due to Allah.
Yes.
So God willing, until next time, we love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Continue to be the blessing. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings.